Praise God, dear friends. I trust and believe that you all are doing well by the grace of God. It's a joy for me to share the word with you all once again this week. And the word for this week is taken from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, verse 15. Just to give you a little background, Jesus here meets two of the disciples after he comes back from the dead, after he is risen from the dead. And what happens here is what we will be meditating upon today. So it says here in verse 15, so it was while they conversed and reasoned that Jesus himself drew near and went with them. But here's what the next verse says. But their eyes were restrained so that they did not know him. A few other versions says that their eyes were hidden miraculously from recognizing him. Now, if you look at the Gospel of John, Jesus himself says in a passage that my sheep hear my voice and they know me, they recognize the shepherd. But here we see that the disciples, even though they were talking to Jesus one on one, they could not recognize, their eyes were restrained. There was something important that the Lord taught me here, and I want to share this with you, and I believe it will be a blessing to you. So, my friend, in our lives, we go through seasons where sometimes we find it hard to understand, and sometimes we feel like, is the Lord really speaking to me? Am I listening to Him clearly? Is that the Lord's voice, or am I listening to things myself? Yes, we all go through such situations and such seasons where we question our faith and we ask, is God really speaking to me? But just like the disciples here in this passage, my friend, I want to leave an encouragement for you today, and that is even though you have these questions, these doubts, and these thoughts that put you down, I want you to know that Jesus did not leave his disciples here with those questions. He did not leave them with restrained eyes. Instead, he walked with them through that journey. And today, as you're listening to this message, that's the assurance I want to give you that God is walking with you, along with you in this journey. But the story does not end there, okay? As you go down to verse 30 of the same chapter, it says, now it came to pass as he sat at the table with them that he took the bread, blessed it, and broke it and gave it to them. And here's what the next verse says. Then their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished from their sight. So, you may have read this chapter many times, and the Lord would have spoken to you different things. But today, what I want to share with you is Jesus did something very profound here in this place. And what he did made them realize that it was him. So, what did Jesus do? Jesus did not just do a random act, he did something that they were familiar with. He did something that meant a lot for them, because at the very last supper that he ate with his disciples, he says, do this in remembrance of me. He gave utmost importance to that last supper. That was something that stuck in their mind, in their hearts. So the minute that he broke that bread and the minute he blessed it, their eyes were opened and they knew that the Lord was with them in that place. So how does this apply to me, you ask? Well, my friend, there are certain things that only you know that the Lord has done in your life. There are certain signature moves that the Lord would have done in your life, and only you know that, yes, that was Jesus working in my life. And whatever he had done in the past, it will stay in our minds. And even though we go through a season where we feel that the Lord is not speaking or he's not walking with me, he will come and take you by surprise and he will repeat that exact thing, that exact signature move. In the case of the disciples, it was the breaking of the bread. So in your life, I'm sure there would have been a moment where the Lord would have broken something, or he would have done something where you know that is Jesus. So today, as you're listening to this message, I want you to remember these two things. One is, no matter how hard the season may look for you, if you're wondering, is the Lord even speaking to me? Is he with me? Yes, he is with you. He is walking along with you. And the second thing is, as you're waiting and trusting upon him, he will do that one thing that only you will be able to know and recognize, because you're his sheep, right? And being his sheep, when he does that particular sign in your life, you will know, yes, that is my Jesus who has done this. So that is the word, and that is the promise, and that is the assurance that I want to leave with you all this week. And hey, if it was a blessing, do pass it on and be a blessing to others. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you again soon in another video, another week. You take care. God bless you.